Okay. So session recording has started. So that's what I'm saying. Phase 0, phase 1. If you see there are a lot of free digital courses, a lot of white papers, go through it. We're going to start with architecting on AWS. That's what the focus is. Now for this architecting on AWS, there are a lot of concepts, a lot of technologies which are involved. And for them, you also get white papers, videos are there, which are free of cost. So that will also give you a value add in terms of your preparation. Once you're done with this phase 2, which is the training, then based on your interest, as I said, you can go for the different certifications or relevant certifications. You can continue with your learning. That's one. Similarly, how we saw architect, there is a similar available for security. So example, this is for you, Alex. AWS for AWS Cloud Security Governance and Compliance Professionals, right? So as of now, your security governance and compliance professional, only the cloud piece is missing. So this definitely will help you for grooming yourself into not only data center security governance and compliance, but even cloud, right? So this also, again, all are available online. I have nothing in my laptop. Everything is on cloud. So let's talk with the content perspective. So today we're going to focus. Okay, let me also show you. Okay, before starting, we only two of them. I I have spoken with Tushar about what he does and stuff. Alex, if you can just like to share what is your current profile? As you said already, security governance. You are from which
Uh,
location, Alex?
so I live in the U.S. I live in Denver, Colorado, but I'm from Mumbai, really. So
Oh, you are based on
go
Mumbai.
ahead.
Okay, great.
Huh?
You are living in Mumbai?
No. I am from Mumbai, but I live in Denver, Colorado now.
Okay, fair. Got it.
So my background is pretty much in payments. So I used to be a cryptographic key manager. I did, PCI pin security, which is on the other side of PCI DSS. Then I
Okay,
did PCI DSS.
okay,
Now I do vendor risk assessments for
perfect.
our vendors. I work for a large bank,
Okay,
and I'm you got to keep moving, right? So I'm
right,
kind of
definitely.
now looking at moving into the cloud
Perfect.
space,
Yeah.
especially either being a solutions architect or being a cloud security guy.
Security is having more weightage these days, so cloud security will definitely help you out. So this cloud, the cloud security governance and compliance professional, this tag would definitely help you out with your current profile, what you do.
Okay.
And yeah, in the past, I've done trainings for Deutsche Bank also, basically
Okay.
very long back, 10 years back, somewhere they were using Solaris in their data centers. So I started my career. So let me introduce myself also. So I stayed Mumbai, Mahim. Mahim is a,
Oh, I was born and raised in Mahim.
oh wow, St.
I
Michael's was my
used
school.
to I used to live in the other west, like near Kirti College.
Okay, okay.
So you know where the dargah is?
Yes,
I used to live, the road between the dargah and the police station at the back there.
yes.
I used to live, when like my first 10 years, my family used to live in that area.
Okay, which was your school? St. Michael's?
No, actually, Don Bosco.
Oh, Don Bosco. Okay. And currently, I am currently sitting in a place which is near between Dargah and police station. Is
Is that
opposite
right?
is between Dargah and police station.
Okay.
Okay. So I am currently when I started after completing my B from Mumbai University. My first job was in Sun Microsystems. So I was using Unix domains. I was to manage Unix servers, and then Solaris trainings I used to do. So Sun Solaris was the first IT technology which I started my career with Unix.
Uh-huh.
And then over the years, as you said, IT keeps moving and changing. So under with Unix and Linux, I've done all Solaris certifications, HP Unix, AX. Now these days, more of Red Hat Linux and SUSE Linux. Docker containers is a new trend going on. So containerization. So I do trainings on Docker. I do trainings on Kubernetes, Kubernetes security, container security per se. And then I also do trainings on VMware, which is server virtualization. Little bit on storage. But as IT grew from Unix, then there was a phase where storage was popular, hot piece. So, and I was in a training division. So anything new in the IT industry is what you need to learn. So storage trainings and server virtualization. Now there's more of cloud automation and containers is the new trend. In terms of certification, as I said already, I have done 7 or 8 certification in AWS. I have done 2 certification in GCP and 1 certification as of cloud. Apart from this, overall, I have total 56 certifications. If you add marriage certificate, then 57. So that's what in my 14 years of IT industry, that's how I grew myself. So now I do full-fledged trainings. I work for Wipro as a company. You must have heard of Wipro, right, in the IT space. So in Wipro also I do trainings on different domains, all these technologies. And then I do consulting or some kind of pre-sales work in Wipro also. That's about myself. So let's start with the actual content. So the first topic which I want to take is, okay, since we are discussing day one, how many services AWS would offer? I started saying cloud is not going to teach you anything new. That's what my statement was. However, new way of accessing the same technology, right? A new way of existing technology. So what are the different, how many services AWS offers? Any idea? Any number?
Many, I guess, like IaaS, SaaS. I don't know. There's so many services, right?
Okay. So now let me be quick. When you go to introduction to AWS, I click on learn, introduction to AWS. It says it has totally 175 fully featured services. 175. Compared to any other cloud, the number one cloud is AWS because of a lot of offerings what cloud provides you. So if you click on products, okay, that's a website, aws.amazon.com. aws.amazon.com. Now, when I click on products, it has services on all these top level domains, top level technologies. So, example, Alex from security governance. So for Alex, knowing other services definitely will be value add. However, you should be specialized in security, in identity and compliance services. So these are the services what you should focus on more, right? So that's why. Similarly, networking. So if I just move my mouse to networking domain, network and content delivery. So VPC, API gateway, cloud front, Route 53, app mesh, cloud direct content, global extractor, private link. These are different services within networking domain, which AWS has. Similarly, database, so many offerings, compute, so many offerings. So 175 services. This is 175. You want to know which are all? Just go to the products, look for a particular technology or a domain. So these days, machine learning, AI, right? Quantum technologies. So your quantum solution labs, then robotics, you have machine learning. So it has services, a lot of services around machine learning. So let me just show you. So it has huge offerings. Now, that's the advantage of cloud. Any organization doesn't have to build any infra because doesn't want to invest on the capex. Okay, so the capex part, I have to build. Why to build something when everything is available? And click of a button. That's the main advantage I get. right? Okay, just for Alex and you, I'm using the free version of Zoom. So as per this documentation says 40 minutes is a limit. Let's see. If I get disconnected, don't worry. I'll connect it back once again. You may get a new meeting ID. I'll upload immediately in the WhatsApp. So till it continues, let it continue. Else, we'll have to. I'll create a new session and then we can join back. Now, so these are the different offerings. Definitely, nobody in the world can teach all 175 or learn 175. Next to impossible, because these are different domains and different towers verticals, right? However, knowing the core services, the important services is mandatory. That's what the solution architect associate will teach you. And when you are ready and based on your domain specialization, you can then focus on your particular domain. So for Tushar, I would say whatever, but you should be specialized in network and connectivity services. For Alex, I would say you do whatever in cloud, but then security, identity, compliance should be your end goal. Network. Fair? Now, so 175 services it has. Let me talk about global infra. Okay. There's an echo which is happening. So what I'm doing, I'm keeping both of you on mute. If you have any questions, you can unmute and talk. So let me mute Alex and okay, you have Tushar is also muted. Perfect. If you have any questions, you can unmute and you can ask. Now, global infra. So why AWS is very popular, or why the market share of AWS is very high? One region is the innovation what AWS brings in, number of services they offers. Second, if you see the connectivity, the reach. So AWS has 22 regions, 69 ability zones. Don't worry, I'll explain these terminologies. Each region with multiple ability zones, each with multiple EZs. So what regions are, what ability zones are, what is point of presence. So total 16 point of presence, 97 direct connect locations, and 245 countries and territories served. Now, what is all about it? And then this is the Gartner's report, Magic Quadrant for Cloud Infrastructure as a Service. From last 11 years, AWS is in leader's position and number one position for infrastructure as a service space. So when it comes to infra as a service, from last 11 years, nobody has touched AWS. Nobody was able to beat AWS. The nearest competitor would be Microsoft Azure. So if you see, Azure is catching up in terms of your completeness of the vision. However, the market share, ability to execute for AWS is very high compared to Microsoft. Last year, that is 2019, Google has just entered the leaders quadrant. Google was actually not in leaders quadrant, it was in niche player or visionary, but then in this category it was. Now, yes, it has also gone into leaders position. So Microsoft Azure, that is AWS and Google, these are the three main as per Gartner's report for infrastructure service. Remember, this is only infra. There's PaaS, there is SaaS, there are many more else. So let me now explain this terminology is called regions, the ability zones, the edge locations. Okay. That's a world map. So you see a lot of blue dots. So these blue dots are nothing but locations, geographical locations or regions where AWS data centers are located. Right now, so if you see in whole of India, Mumbai is one. Mumbai has only one region in whole of India having 3 availability zones, 3 easies. This was launched in 2016. Now, which was the first region which AWS came up with? So the answer lies here, North Virginia. So AWS was launched in 2006. Currently we're in 2000. Right, 20. Now, based on, if you see the first 2006, there was no other cloud provider, or in fact, the concept called as public cloud was introduced by AWS, and then the other players started. Microsoft was started somewhere in 2009 or 10. So before that, there was no cloud. So AWS was number one. Just one sec. Sorry. So what I was saying is, if you see, the first region was North Virginia, which was 2006, and then over the years they started expanding. Now, okay, when they launched 2006, there are only 3 services. So 2006, when they started, they were having only 3 services: EC2, S3, and SQS. And now in 2020, they have 175 services. If you see, they have increased the reach. They were having only one region with 2 AZs when they started. Now 22 regions with 69 AZs. So they are expanding, it is growing like anything. Now, coming to this region aspect, you can click on any location and know where the regions are. So the blue dots is the regions which are currently operational. So we have Sao Paulo, then North. So since you're all from Oyo, Canada Central, 2016. So Canada Central was also launched in 2016. How many AZs it has? It has 2 AZs. Then on the western side, we have government. We can't use it. Oregon, my favorite region, launched in 2011. It has 4 availability zones, and then we have Northern California, which was launched in 2009 with 3 AZs. So there are a lot of regions. Now, region consists of, so region is a logical entity. It is basically a location or a city where AWS is located. Right. Now, so a region consists of 2 or more AZs, availability zones. Now, what is AZs? So, availability zone is nothing but clusters of data centers, or in simple terms, equal to a data center, if you can consider that. So imagine I have a building with 7-floor building where every floor is my data center running. Like 7th floor, all my data centers are running, all racks and servers and stuff. I'll consider as one AZ. Clusters of data centers, I'll consider as one AZ. So every AZ, when I say, would have approximately 75,000 servers. A capacity to run 75,000 servers would be one AZ. Now, a region, coming back to region, consists of 2 or more AZs. So when Mumbai was launched, so that's AP-South-1. Now this is actually a Mumbai region. That's how AWS talks about the region. So for you, me, it will be Mumbai. For you, me, it is Oregon. For you, me, it is Oyo. But then the technical way of defining is through naming convention. So every region has a naming convention. So AP-South-1 is Mumbai. Now, when it started, when it was launched in 2016, it had two AZs. Now, what is the meaning of, again, let me explain. Two AZs means two distinct data centers. Two distinct data centers within Mumbai, having independent power supply, independent cooling, independent management, independent cables, your network cables and data cables, connectivity to the ISPs and stuff. So what happens if one AZ goes down, other AZ is not impacted. So for achieving HA, high availability, region has two AZs. So when you do your solution architecting, when you design your application, when you design your solution, the solution should be multi-AZ so that one AZ is down, stack is down, server is down, network is down, your application is not down because of multi-AZ. So HA can be achieved by deploying multi-AZ, by going multi-AZ. Now, within a region, so example, as I said, Mumbai was having two AZs. Now, connectivity between these AZs within a region. So within the region, all AZs are connected by high speed, low latency links. High speed, low latency links. Correct. So when you want to do a replication between the two AZs within the region, you can achieve sync replication. Synchronous replication. So that's region. So we have 22 regions as of now, with 5 more regions in pipeline, right? So this is what we were discussing. So the orange circles, the orange dots. So Jakarta, then Osaka. If you notice, currently in Africa, no presence, nobody has a presence. So AWS is going to launch in Cape Town. Then in European zones, you have Milan and Spain. So these are the 5 regions which are currently getting built. 22 already are running. 69 AZs, in simple terms, 69 distinct data centers across the globe, across these 22 locations. Let me put it this way, 22 regions. Clear? Any questions or any doubts in terms of regions and availability zones? Why this structure?
Hey, clear. Thanks.
Perfect. So to achieve HA, to implement HA for your application, please make use of availability zones. Go for multi-AZ deployments. Now, coming to point of presence, POP. So POP or nothing but the edge locations. So we have regions, then we have availability zones. Okay, let me also, since we are discussing regions and edge locations, little bit more about it. How many servers AWS is offering? 175. Do you think all the regions 175 services are running? All the regions. So there are 22 regions. All 175 services are running. Answer is no. In North Virginia, that's the only region which is the first region which AWS started. Right. So currently it has how many? So if you see North Virginia, it has 6 availability zones, 6 AZs, 6 distinct data centers. Each AZ 75,000 servers. 75,000 server multiplied by 6 is only there in North Virginia. Now that's the location where all services get launched. The alpha, the beta, the GA happens in North Virginia. Then, based on the popularity of the service, based on the stability of the service, the demand of the service, it gets replicated to other regions. So, not all regions may run all the services. However, you want to try something, 101% would be available in this region.
Itihas, I have a question. These servers, they're all bare metal or are they virtual?
Bare metal. They are white listed, so it's not Dell or EMC or HP. They are white listed boxes. Your router is also software defined. Everything is software defined. Everything is software defined infra. So when I say networking, it is software defined networking. When I say storage, it's software defined storage. When I say in compute, it's software defined compute. Everything is software defined. Everything is more or less automated. So very few people have access to those data centers. So security is been taken care very highly. Other than the location, you don't get any address. I may be very big customer still. I don't know the address. I am in Mumbai. Mumbai has 3 AZs. I don't know where the AZs are. AWS will never disclose it. Google has answers for all, but mostly Google will not tell you the location where the AZs are. So very confidential. Why? Security. So if you don't know, if I don't know itself where the AZs are, I can't harm it, right? Now, everything is software defined. Everything is using white listed or white boxes. Now, definitely numbers 175, something would be more of is available in this region, 100% will get it. Other regions, you need to verify. Other regions, you need to check whether that particular service is available or not. There are 100 plus services which are common across all the regions. 100 plus services which is common across all the regions. These services like machine learning, AI, robotics, quantum database, something unique, something niche, very newly launched, that may not be available in all regions. That may take time to get replicated. Now, how can you validate it? If you go to, okay, regions and easies, there's a tab available there. Now, this is going to tell you about more about this your location, not the answer which I was asking for. So, example in North America. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when they were with how many AZs, when it was launched. Now, I was actually going to talk about edge locations. So let me also talk about edge locations. What edge locations are. Now, okay. You have, if you notice, there are only these regions. However, what if you're sitting somewhere else? How can I achieve low latency? Then the answer is edge locations. So although AWS don't have any presence in Ashburn, and doesn't have much presence in other parts of US, but then it has edge locations in Ashburn, Palo Alto, Phoenix, and many more, like you can see yourself, right? Boston, Chicago, New York. Now, what is edge location does? Let me explain. Similarly, since you understand India geo, your so whole of India, we have only one region, right? However, what if I'm sitting in Delhi and I want to leverage AWS, or sitting in Bangalore, want to leverage AWS, or sitting in Chennai, want to leverage AWS? If every time my query has to go to till Mumbai for fetching the data, what happens in terms of latency? My latency will be very high. So to reduce the latency, to have a better user experience, we have something known as the edge locations. So in India, they have edge locations in Bangalore, Chennai, right? Then edge locations in Hyderabad, 2. Then we have edge locations in Mumbai, 3, New Delhi, 4. So if you just do the match, there are 11 edge locations in India. There are 11 edge locations in India. Now, what does edge location does? I'll explain. So just remember there's something known as edge locations, and the current count for these edge locations is 200 plus, 216. Again, no point of remembering these numbers because the numbers keeps changing, always keeps increasing. But yes, as of today, this is a valid number, right? 22 regions, 69 AZs, and 216 point of presence. Now, I go to the regional table. This is what I was talking about, regional table. So all 175 services may not be available in all the regions. You need to validate whether it's available in your region or not. So on the left hand side, if you see all 175 services will be written. So all 175 is there on the left hand side, and you get these tick marks. On the right, on the horizontal axis, we have regions. Vertical axis, I have services, and you can check yourself which service is available where. So Amazon Code Guru, which is in preview, right, is available only in North Virginia, Ohio, and Oregon. It's a preview. That means it is still not in GA, right? And definitely, this is preview means you don't know SLA. There is no SLA as of now. Features may change once it becomes GA. So any new offerings, they start from North Virginia in the preview mode. Previews are, it's available to everybody. Anybody can use it. However, there is no SLA for it. You cannot commit, or there's feature changes can happen. They keeps on updating. Once it becomes GA, then the service is available to all the others. Similarly, a lot of services are there. Cognito, available in this three, not available in North California, not available in Sao Paulo, right? These two things are not there. And similarly, you can check for Europe, Middle East, Africa based on your customer presence, or Asia specific based on your customer presence. Now, remember one thing. Which region you will select if that decision lies with you as a solution architect? Then select a region which is nearest to your customer. Because when your data center is near to your customer, customer can access your data faster, latency would be lower, experience would be better. Don't deploy a server in US or Canada and your customer is sitting in India. What happens every time I have to query, every time I have to as a request, my data has to go up to the digital ocean cables and then reach and then get to the data. Latency will be very high. So not, as I said, not all services are available in all the regions. You need to verify before selecting a region. First parameter for selecting a region should be proximity to your end user. Then check whether that region has the services what you want. If yes, please go ahead. Now, edge locations. We were discussing edge locations. And these are the edge locations, all 216 edge locations across the globe. Now, what are these? So edge locations runs only few services, specialized services. Edge location runs very specialized services, and these are co-located or AWS premises or co-located premises. So may not be owned by AWS. AWS may would be rented by from somebody else, would have taken a service from somebody else and running these services from there. Now, CloudFront is your content delivery network. Content delivery network. So the advantage of CDN, why we have 216 to 16 approximately, right? That's the number which was showing. CDNs, because my content which I'm getting from AWS can be delivered from the CDN. My latency would be very low. Like I am in India, I'm sitting in Bangalore. If I'm in Bangalore, currently I'm in Mumbai. But then what if I'm sitting in my data center is in Chennai or Bangalore or Delhi? I don't have to come every time to Mumbai for fetching the data. I can access my data from the edge location. So Netflix, Amazon Prime, they all run from the same AWS premises. So you must be aware, right? Netflix is using AWS extensively. Amazon Prime is also using AWS extensively. And it is the same data centers. It's not there are separate data centers which are built in for others. So content get whatever Netflix or Amazon Prime you're accessing, Amazon.com you're using, that data you are fetching it not from the region, you're getting it from the CDN, nearest CDN. So the latency would be very, very low. Route 53, which is acting as a DNS service. Then firewall, as the name says, because these are the entry points, right? My POP or point of presence or edge locations are locations from where people can connect to the AWS network, can join AWS network. That means I should have a security around it. So it has firewall, it has shield, which is going to help me with mitigating DDoS attacks. It has web application firewall, web application firewall.
Yeah,
So
sorry to interrupt. It's
yeah,
like just some data center that you will actually have,
yes,
right? It's just like a data center.
right. There's nothing called cloud. Cloud is just a buzzword, if you ask me. The cloud is basically words for CIO and CTOs. For you and me, it is data centers. Somebody else data center. In this case, it is AWS data center. As simple as that.
Hey, Tejas, all of this is software defined, right? No, or is it bare metal? I mean, I'm asking you this same question I asked you before. So all of this stuff, your firewalls, your um, web
So
application firewalls,
let me
Yes.
guess. I
DNS
think it's
server.
all bare metal, as Alex. I think because it should be bare metal. It's just that Amazon owns it.
So few of them would be bare metal, few of them would be software defined. Again, it can be case to case. So example, here you get WAF, right? Now, let me show you one example of WAF, web application firewall. Now, so for you, you need to access it as a software. Now, backend, when it's running a hardware or a software, AWS does not disclose, at least for WAF.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt, Tejas. As in, I know I was working. Actually, I worked in US for last 8 years. So I was in this project for state of California. There's a thing called a company called Imperva. They do this WAF and DAM thing. So and that's a hardware like
Okay. Yeah.
device that
See, end
you
of the day, it
install
has
in
to
a
be some
data
hardware
center.
only. No.
Yeah, and then the WAF and DAM was running on it.
Right. See, to be very open, so when I say software defined, that doesn't mean there's no hardware. Hardware has to be there. Without hardware, you cannot survive. You cannot use it. Virtualization, software defined, these are layers on top of it, which help me to automate or help me to have multi-tenant, help me to have programming or automation or programmatic access. That's the advantage I get it by software defined. Hardware, I cannot customize it. Software, I can customize. That's the advantage I get. Now, whatever you do, WAF or Shield or whatever, backend, from the AWS side, there would be some hardware running. But then for you, it is a software what you're getting, a service you're getting. Now, the hardware what AWS will have, that is a multi-tenant hardware. So when I say multi-tenant, that means your policy is also being validated. My policy is also getting validated. Somebody else's policy is also getting validated by the same hardware. Possible. So again, case to case. There are some services which are dedicated infra. So let me show you one example. Since we have Alex there, cloud HSM. Now, so cloud HSM is basically a managed hardware security module on AWS cloud. Now, when I say cloud HSM, it actually provides you with a dedicated single tenant hardware. Now, this definitely I will say yes, they are giving you hardware, and that hardware is also mentioned.
Uh, hey, since you touched on HSM,
Yes,
would you take a few minutes to talk about the KMS?
definitely. It's there. No, it's part of the syllabus. I have to
Okay,
teach you.
thanks.
But only thing, since we are discussing this, I'm just showing. So there are many
Okay.
services. Now,
Okay.
I cannot
Thanks.
say which service is hardware or which service is software for you. But then I cannot have a generalized statement that everything is software defined. No, wrong. Everything is not hardware. Again, that's also wrong. But then definitely everything is running from the same data centers and from the same servers. So the hardware what AWS has, they don't disclose it. It's all white listed boxes. What do I say? Now, definitely there would be some proprietary or some kind of support there, but there are a few services like Cloud HSM, which is having a dedicated hardware. A single tenant. They also tell you which company they use. I think not. It's okay. I'm touching Cloud HSM after a long time. I forgot the name of the company. It mentions it. So, so they provide you a dedicated hardware in kind of Cloud HSM, but compared to compute or database or networking or security, you'll be mostly getting a shared hardware. Unless you go and ask for a dedicated hardware, it's going to cost you a bomb. It's definitely going to cost you more because single tenant, you get benefits of economic of scale, right? Your cost gets distributed amongst multiple accounts, multiple customers. Delegate tenant, delegate infra, definitely you need to bear the whole cost. So definitely the costing will be difference. That's what the only discussion is all about. Now, so route firewall manager is just a manager, is a control plane, a single centralized control plane for all your firewalls across AWS. The AWS Shield is you are getting it for free. So this AWS Shield also has two options. You have standard, which is free and it's already been applied for your each and every account. And then you have advanced, where you have to pay. Now, WAF is also a service which is where you need to, it's not available for free, you have to pay for it. Now, so the main intention of talking about this 4 or 5 services because that these are only runs from the edge locations. So that 216, whatever POP, point of presence or edge location AWS has, plus edge region AWS has, that may be owned by AWS, those locations, or those locations could be co-located, like basically shared. AWS must have got it from somebody else, rented it, or co-located by or somebody else data center. But then they're providing these 4 or 5 services, which is very important in terms of CDN for reduced latency, better user experience. That's why Netflix, Amazon Prime, you don't see any buffering. Route 53 DNS. If your DNS is fast, you can access your application faster. And since these are the locations where you can enter AWS network, security is also been implemented at the edge location, which is RAF and Shield. Right? So edge location does not run all the services, only run few services. You cannot use edge locations yourself. Can I log into the edge location? No. But then you can use it by using these services. So by using CloudFront or Shield or WAF, yes, I can make use of edge locations. Can I directly log into my edge locations? Answer is no. Can I log into Mumbai region? Answer is yes. Can I log into Oregon? Answer is yes. That region I can connect directly. That's a region. So regions are locations where I can run 100 plus services. Edge locations runs only 4 or 5 services. That's the main difference. Clear? Hope that's
Yeah. So, say for example, if I'm in Mumbai and I access my Gmail account, so which server will it come from? You know, because let's say if I'm in the US and I jump from, how do they manage that? You know,
perfect. So that is what we are going to learn now in this controller solution architecting. So DNS is a main player here. So when I say gmail.com, enter how you want, it is your application. So Gmail I'll explain separately. But then for your application, how you want servers when I say gmail.com or xyz or alex.com, I want my request should only go to India servers. That's one option. My request should always go to US servers. That's another option that you can define in Route 53. Or do you want to use caching for US servers? So CloudFront service. So multiple services together will help you to implement one application for you. Now, when you said Gmail as an example, Gmail uh, is using distributed storage, right? So the play in terms of mails, if you see any mails, the main is the storage, right? Where you store your emails. Now, Gmail is using a global storage. The reason is global storage is the storage for Gmail is distributed across the globe. That doesn't mean my mailbox, which is in Mumbai or India, I may immediately get access in US on day one. But yes, if you travel to Mumbai, say Alex travel to Mumbai, you access first time or one first time in Mumbai. Definitely, Mumbai storage may not have your data. That time, it may go to US to fetch your emails. But once Gmail understands that this guy is now in India, is accessing his files, I am getting latency is very high. Let me copy or store now his mailbox in my local storage also, which is in Mumbai. And then there's a TTL, time to live, caching. So again, backend storages, front end, a lot of things to discuss. Databases, some databases are regional, some databases are global. So transactional databases, non-SQL databases. So there are many technologies we have to discuss, and that's how we have to build our application. So one application is not going to make your application. So multiple
So,
services clubbed together will make an application.
Tejas has an certain. So, if we have to use the edge locations in when you're architecting something on AWS, basically, if we're using those 5 services, then we're using the edge location. Otherwise, we're not, right? Technically.
Right. Now, so you should be knowing who's going to access your application, for whom you're building this application, where your customers are. Now, whether your customers are only regional or your customers is global, if global, then which are locations, and then accordingly, then you will do the sizing, the solution architecture, right? And then selecting which services accordingly will be met. So, a application like Gmail definitely will require a global storage. But what if I'm going to create an application for which is going to be used only in India? Then definitely I don't require CDNs across the globe, right? But I would definitely require CDN within India. Then I'll only use those CDNs. Why will I pay CDN for US when I'm not going to use it? And then that's how you select services. Load balancers are there. We're going to talk about load balancers, Route 53, a lot of services to discuss basically. So in this curriculum, okay, before that, hope the concepts of regions, edge locations, and ability zones are clear. Region is global, is virtual. There's nothing called physical. So region is virtual or logical, whereas ability zones are physical data centers. Edge locations are again physical data centers where only few services you are able to access it. Region is made of 2 or more AZs, and those AZs are connected to each other. Those AZs within the region are connected to each other. Now, AWS also wants, if I just show you one more tab, where okay, let me go to the global infra and now, so this is all our about. Wherever you see these white lines are AWS network. So region, then AZ, POP, and then connected. So these white lines, wherever you see, these are networks, AWS network all together. So there are some regions which are connected. Like example, Mumbai. Wherever you see the pink dots, those pink dots are point of presence. The blue dots are my AZs. And then Mumbai is connected to Singapore. Mumbai is connected to Bahrain, Mumbai is connected to somewhere here, Milan or Paris, right? So advantage is if you're going with a multi-AZ, you can any region you can want to know more information, just click on it. So example Mumbai, then tells me more about Mumbai, how the connectivity and all these things are. Now, the now the next goal of AWS is to connect all its regions with each other, so that when you go for a multi-regional approach, your data transfer happens via AWS network and not using ISP. So that it will be faster, it will be secure, and so you don't have to worry on a latency perspective. It will be very fast.
And that death of ISPs.
Sorry?
I'm saying death of ISPs.
Yeah.
No longer ISPs will be needed.
Right. So no, ISPs are still there. The only thing is you see here AWS network, but backend they are using ISPs only, to be very frank. So in India, they uses Tata Communication a lot, and there are other ISPs which are getting used a lot. So ISPs would be there. Only thing, ISPs is giving a lot of bandwidth to these cloud providers. They are building the network for the cloud providers. See, AWS is not going to go and build ocean cables. It's going to leverage some other ISP only. That content must have gone to somebody else only. Only thing, front end is AWS. Back end, it is some ISP. So, as I said, cloud is not going to eat up your jobs. Don't worry. However, your knowledge of cloud is important. HP, Dells of the world, storage, network, networking, firewall, compute, database, all would be there. Irrespective of whatever you do cloud. If I go all cloud also, still it has requires servers to run. It requires networking. So all the Cisco's and Junipers of the world will still survive, cannot go down. Yes, their usage would be now on a larger scale and owned by very few people, not hundreds of people. That's the only difference in principle. It's going to be shareable now. That's the only difference. So ISP will be there. So if you work for ISP, don't worry, your jobs are not going to go. I have done a lot of trainings for ISP, so I'm aware. So we discuss about when we do networking, I'll show in India or maybe in your parts of the world, which are the popular ISPs which are working for AWS. So you will think it's AWS network, but somebody has to build that network, right? So ISPs will have to build that for Amazon. ISP has to build network for Azure. ISP has to build network for Google Cloud. So knowingly or unknowingly, ISPs are going to be there. And they are going to get businesses from Amazon, Azure, and Google, and not from end users like previously. How used to get it in millions and billions.
Yeah, as in that was the point actually.
Right. So that's where the changes is, the shift is. So end user is going to reduce. When I say corporates, or I would say the larger players are going to survive. Smaller players are going to get acquired by the larger players, or they may not sustain.
Hey, question: is Alibaba going to be a player at all? Because they have a big, China presence, but
Never.
I don't know if there's
No.
any acceptability in the West.
No. Alibaba is for China and for China by China. So I don't see others using Alibaba, because again, nobody in the West, nobody in the European parts of the world would trust their data centers to be stored in with the China entity. So I definitely say no. European
There will be
GDPR,
issues with privacy and security.
privacy, right? So in European countries we have this GDPR. What is that? Definitely no. Even Google Cloud, if you ask me, right, is not catching up much with the corporates, with the larger players. You know why? Who's adherence? Who is a bottleneck for Google Cloud? Why Google Cloud is not getting adopted by the enterprise and the top, I would say, 10 or top 50 enterprises? Reason is, anybody, any guesses? Answer is
Privacy, security, governance.
answer is Google. So Google Cloud.
Russia?
Answer is Google. So Google Cloud, the Google name itself is a
Public.
bottleneck or adherence for going with Google. Privacy. Google does not give in writing, I will not use your data. So definitely all the enterprises where privacy, the banking industry, oil and gas industry, where compliance regulatory, your health and care industry, where compliance regulatories are very, very important. Privacy is very important. Those customers will never go with Google Cloud.
How about IBM Cloud?
IBM Cloud is again more of a private cloud. It's not going to be a global cloud. So definitely enterprises would definitely use it. Startups may not use it. It would be
I worked for IBM actually when I was working for State of California. They're still working out there. Like you get all those clearances, right? Like for public and government and all those like
So
compliances and stuff. IBM
yes.
is still working on that. As
Right.
like I think it's like a year or 2 years ago.
So IBM Cloud is getting adopted, but by IBM customers.
Yeah, I'm saying that they're still working on getting all this compliances and becoming
Right.
compliant.
That takes time. That is not an easy piece.
Yes, yeah.
Plus, having a global reach is next. See, if you see this Gartner's report in terms of IAS, or leave with the IAS part also. I think it was here only, right? So these are the three leaders position. Now Alibaba, you said right, IBM is there, Oracle Cloud is also is there. Now again, Oracle Cloud, who's using Oracle customers are using it. Reason, Oracle does not give you permission to use Oracle products in any one of these. So if you're using Oracle in any one of these, now they have to have a partnership with Microsoft because they know if they don't have a partnership, they will not survive. Oracle market share is decreasing day by day. So to keep up with it, initially when they launched their own cloud, Oracle Cloud, I am Oracle Cloud certified and I have done many trainings on Oracle Cloud also. More or less same as Amazon Cloud. If you know AWS, you can easily work on Oracle Cloud. It's not rocket science. I would say 80% remain the same. Only the 20% delta you have to change. Similar like AWS, but then only Oracle customers are using it because Oracle is forcing them to use it. No other option. Licensing. If you use Oracle on Amazon AWS, the cost of Oracle database license goes 1.5 times. Plus, you don't get support. When you run the same on Oracle Cloud, Oracle database, you get at a cheaper price and you get support complementary. So that with all this strategy, you are forced to now use multi-cloud strategy. So now enterprises, the big players are going with multi-cloud strategy. Startups, I wish to still go with one cloud. But enterprises, multi-cloud. Why multi-cloud? Something which is easy like Oracle Cloud along with AWS or Oracle Cloud along with Microsoft is what I'll make use it. There's another cloud basically for, if not mentioned here, because it is not an infra player. It's not an infra player. But then you have this SAP Cloud, right? Then you have DigitalOcean. So these are specialized cloud providers. So DigitalOcean is basically for developers. SAP Cloud again for running SAP HANA or SAP products. So SAP products, you want to run it on cloud as a service, you'll go for SAP Cloud. I know customers are using AWS along with SAP Cloud. So the ERP running in somewhere else, the other services are running in AWS, something like that. So multi-cloud is what the new trend is. Okay. So three things we discussed as of now: regions, ability zones, and edge locations. AWS provides you 175 services. Now, in terms of the content, what we are going to cover, because I'm not going to cover all 175 services, not possible. We're going to focus only on services which are important, core services which are important from the certification perspective, or as per AWS what AWS is promoting. So coming to compute. So in compute, we're going to talk about EC2, which is Elastic Cloud Compute. Again, this is where I always keep forgetting. So when I go to compute, Elastic Compute Cloud. I always get confused between the two. Cloud compute or compute cloud. So it is compute on cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud. This is the first service which when they started, right? So it's available in all the 22 regions. It's available in all 69 IoT zones. Now, all major players. So again, anybody who's using AWS would definitely use. So Netflix and Airbnb, Expedia, BP. I've done trainings for BP. I've done trainings for the. They all uses compute. Now, apart from compute, so we are going to discuss about compute. We are going to do with retail hands-on. Then we have auto scaling. Okay, let me. EC2. EC2 has few features like load balancing, or then it has auto scaling. So based on the demand, I will add EC2 instances or remove EC2 instances. So that advantage I get it. I have light scale. Now light scale is basically easy to use cloud platform. So I don't want to manage anything. I just want a ready-made solution. Then I go for light scale, and I pay a monthly cost. ECS is basically to run containers. So I always keep telling containers are the new infra of today's world.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. There's so much background noise. Is it from your end or because Alex, are you on mute?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it would be nice if you can mute it.
Okay, I've muted both Alex and unmute. Okay, fair. So ECS is a service to run containers on cloud. So if I word of Docker containers, I can manage Docker containers using ECS. So it's an orchestration engine. Now, customers, Duolingo, Expedia, Mobileye, Cookpad, they all uses containers, and containers are also getting used in machine learning, batch processing, and many other services. Now, Fargate, this is a recent launch. Serverless compute engine, serverless architecture. So Fargate is a new offerings from AWS. I would not say new, it's a 2 years back, old now. But then it's completely serverless. So when I say serverless, that means there's no servers to manage at all. Okay. This is a disturbance from my side. There's some cab going nearby, so generating a lot of noise. Fair. So serverless that doesn't mean no servers. Serverless means I, as an end user or a customer, doesn't have to manage any servers. So I don't have to manage servers. I don't have to manage on the license cost. I don't have to manage infra maintenance. So maintenance, patching, license cost, everything taken care of by AWS. I'll just focus on my code, on my application. That's Fargate, serverless compute. So Fargate is available for ECS. Fargate is available for EKS. So ECS is nothing but containers. EKS is for Kubernetes service. So Fargate makes it easy for you to focus on building your applications. Fargate removes the need to provision and manage servers, and to specify and pay for resources per application, and improve security through application isolation by design. And Lambda. So in Lambda is again a very popular topic in the exam and real world. Practically, when you're going to use AWS, you will see customers using Lambda. And you should definitely use Lambda for cost savings, for automating digital world. So Lambda lets you run code without provisioning or managing servers. Again, serverless. I don't have to manage any servers at all. You pay only for the compute. You run code for virtually any type of application or backend services, all with zero administration. No licensing, no administration, no patching, no anything. Just focus on the code. Now, in this, out of this 4 or 5, we are going to do EC2 in detail with hands-on, Lambda in detail with hands-on. Others, we are going to just do a theoretical topic as per solution architect is concerned. Now, then comes storage. So, storage, if you see, AWS has a lot of offerings for storage. So, if you need local storage for EC2, relational and NoSQL databases, data warehousing, database processing, backup and recovery, answer is EBS, block store, elastic block store, EBS. You cannot run EC2 VM compute without EBS, not possible. Then, in terms of scalability, right? Simple, scalable, elastic file systems. So if you want a file storage, where you want that storage to be accessed by multiple nodes, petabyte scale, right? Then you go for EFS. Now EFS provides you with NFS version 4 protocol. So very relevant for Unix machines or Linux machines. Now for Windows, then it has Amazon FSX for Windows files. So you're running lot of Windows servers, then you can make use of FSX for Windows and create a file server, a Windows file system based on Windows Server. It supports SMB protocol, NTFS, AD integration, and distributed file systems. If you are more into high performance computing, HPC, then you can go for Lustre file system, FSX for Lustre, where you get file systems for machine learning, media data processing, workflows, which can similarly integrate with S3. Now, so this first one is a block storage. The next 3 is my file storage. Again, file storage, there are 3 different types for 3 different use cases. Then I have the next 2 is object storage or blob storage. So scalable, durable performance platform to make data accessible from any internet. Now, so cloud storage is nothing but S3. S3 is my cloud storage. For any user generated content, archive, serverless computing, big data storage, backup and recovery, I can make use of S3. In simple terms, S3 is unlimited storage space. Anything you upload in S3 is available on internet directly. It's a cloud storage. And when AWS was launched, 2006, it had S3. So very, very old storage, very matured storage, cloud storage. Now, similar to S3, where I want to use it for archiving purpose. So tape replacement, highly affordable long-term storage classes that replaces my tape for archiving regulatory compliance. Then I'll give use of S3 Glacier or S3 Glacier Deep Archive. So again, within S3, I have different classes. There is one class known as Glacier, which helps me to replace the tapes in the market. So tape is a dying technology. Any enterprise or any startup should definitely go for backups. Should be there in their design, right? In their data centers. Now, those backups, they currently must have taken tapes. Tapes are slow, tapes are sequential device, slow device, and you have to maintain it very nicely because you get a lot of fungus on the tapes and then becomes unusable when it's required. As a replacement, I can make use of Glacier. So anything to be stored for a longer duration, more than 1 year, I can put in Glacier. I have kept my childhood photos. I am uploading my daughter photos. I have kept my marriage photos in Glacier. Why? provides me with 99.999999999. That is 11 nines of durability and 99.9% of availability is what guaranteed by Glacier. Cheap storage, dirt cheap storage. And the best part is anybody in the world wants to see my photos, I just have to share him the link. That's it. So fetch it. Only when I fetch the data is where I pay. Storage is dirt cheap. So S3 and Glacier both help me for cloud storage, unstructured data, keeping the logs, keeping the snapshots, backups, all stores in S3 and Glacier. Now, hybrid storage. What if you are a customer where you want to run your data center as well as you want to leverage cloud, AWS? So all enterprise customers definitely will not go all cloud. They would be still running some applications, some data services in their local data centers, and they want to leverage the cloud benefits. Some application running on cloud. How can they interact with each other? How their two data centers and cloud talk, share common storage? Answer is storage gateway. So storage gateway helps me to build a hybrid cloud storage. So on my data center, I will deploy storage gateway and configure it as file or block or tape. So storage gateway have three options: tape, file, and block. So take an example. I use storage gateway as my tape. So it acts like a VTL, virtual tape library. I use any of the backup software. I push my backup on VTL. That actually is a storage gateway. That storage gateway is going to push my data and or store my data on cloud, S3 bucket. So that tomorrow my data center goes down, I still have my backup on site, on cloud. A portfolio of services helps simplifies expedited moving data, all types of and sizes. I have data migration services. Again, so want to do large migration. So ex customer data migration services. So there are many services which helps me for migrating my data on cloud, right? So that's what all available. So if you see here, database migration, online data transfer, where I have direct connect. I will say direct connect is a networking service. Why it is shown here? I can transfer a lot of data via direct connect, possible. Data sync is again a data transfer service. Then storage gateway, we just discussed. And storage gateway comes in three flavors: file gateway, tape gateway, and volume gateway. Then I have transfer accelerator S3, I have Kinesis data firehouse, and a lot of third-party partner solutions which helps me to migrate my data online. That's one. Offline data migration. For offline data migration, I can make use of Snowball, Snowball Edge, or Snowmobile. And for unmanaged cloud migrations, I can make use of rsync or S3 command line utility or Glacier command line utility. So there are many offerings for data migration, which you want to use it based on use case, different use cases. Online, if your data is less than, I would say 2-3 terabytes, then you can go for online transfer. Offline, if your data is more than 10 TB, then go for offline mode, which will be cheaper for you. And then ad hoc transfers would be through unmanaged way, rsync and other topics. And last is backup. So fully managed backup service that makes it easy to centralize and automate the backup of your data across AWS in the cloud, as well as on-prem using storage gateway. So I can take backup not only for AWS resources, but also on-prem resources if storage gateways are enabled. And then this is what we are going to discuss. So here, practically, we are going to do in, as I said, compute and Lambda is what we're going to do in hands-on. Others would be theory. In storage, we're going to discuss S3 in detail, EBS with hands-on, Rest all would be theory. Rest services will be more of a theoretical.
So, sorry.
Yeah.
So this theoretical thing. So basically, we just read and then
No, no, no.
memorize all
We'll
the.
be talking about the concepts like what is it. I'll be going with a slide presentation where I'll talk about, say, example, Glacier. So what is Glacier? Whether Glacier supports encryption or encryption algorithm Glacier is supporting. What are the different terms Glacier is using? What are the different features Glacier has?
And
Use
this
cases.
is something that is also asked in the like the exam.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Yes.
No, I
They,
mean, as in, learning when you're actually logging into AWS and then like creating or like actually using the service and then just theoretical. So that's why I asked nothing.
no, no, theoretical. Why? Because there are many services they ask in
Yeah,
exam.
and we cannot do everything.
Now,
Yeah,
every service is doing hands-on may not be relevant.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, so services which are important, I will do the labs. I'll ask you also do it the lab and I also demonstrate it. Services like theory. Now, when I say theory, I may demonstrate, but I don't expect you to do it. If you don't do it, also fine. You can pass the exam. But then you cannot pass the exam without doing practical for these. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Important
no, and then
services, yeah. Where
I mean because from learning perspective
yes,
also, that's
learning perspective.
exam. That's fine. You can get the certification, but you have to pass the interviews and stuff also,
Right.
right?
So that is why the theory, the concepts will be taught. So
Yeah.
and so when I say your solution architect associate certified, that means you should be knowing what all these are. So if I ask you a question on Glacier, you should be able to answer. If I ask you a question on EFS, you should be able to answer. But then I am not expecting you to do the hands-on. There can be two aspects behind it. One, it's just a very small topic from the certification perspective. Second, that service may not be available for free. It's not a free tax service. So networking, we are definitely going to discuss VPC in detail. Very, very important. The advanced networking exam, which I was talking to Tushar, early discussion. The advanced networking exam talks or works mostly on VPC. After the 3 days of training on advanced networking, 2 days we are already talking VPC in detail with a lot of labs. Here we are also going to do VPC, but within 1 hour or 2 hours. Limited to solution architect. Then when I say VPC, automatically other concepts also comes in. So VPC, subnet, then we have internet gateway, we have network ACL, we have security group, which is my firewall, we have routing table, route tables, we have NAT gateway, we have virtual private gateway. So a lot of things comes with respect to with VPC. Again, we're going to discuss all, and we are also going. I am also asked you to do the labs. Then Route 53 is a DNS service. CloudFront, again, CloudFront, I'll roll you a demo. So it will be theory plus demo.
CDN.
Yeah, CDN. It will be theory plus demo. So I don't expect you to do it. You want to do it, you can do. Nobody stops you. Because everything is in cloud. Infra is available in cloud. That's the main beauty. Right. So these are the three VPC Route 53 load CloudFront. Again, here when I say EC2, is not only EC2, we also going to talk about autoscale. We're also going to talk about ELB, application load balancer or elastic load balancer. So now you say load balancer will come in networking, yes, but you cannot do load balancer without compute. So that's why it's there compute category. Then inside of monitoring, we're going to talk about CloudTrail. Now CloudTrail is a service which is going to capture all your API calls. So any cloud, when I run, when I use, I'm doing a lot of API requests. Get API, put API, create API. So basically I'm playing with APIs. Now all these APIs are getting recorded. So if I want to do an audit, then CloudTrail will help you out with respect to audit. So who has done what at what date and time, I can easily get in CloudTrail. Then config, again a very good service from security compliance perspective, I cannot check manually whether my infra is compliant, my storage is compliant with HIPAA, or storage is compliant with PCI DSS, or storage is compliant with XYZ. That checking can be done by config. Now, config also works like a asset management. So in my setup, what all things have been deployed, everything I get it from config. So CloudTrail, config, CloudWatch. Again, CloudWatch, we have a lot of things within CloudWatch. We have CloudWatch metrics, we have CloudWatch monitoring. We have CloudWatch logs. So log analysis and stuff is also done. Alarms and CloudWatch events. Now you're going to not sit 24/7 in front of a data center for something to occur. You can set alarms. So if particular event occurs or particular condition occurs, is going to trigger an alarm. Alarm can then send you emails or notify through SMS or perform some jobs that can be configured. Then we have trusted advisor. So the other services we're going to discuss from the monitoring perspective. From security perspective, we are going to talk about EMS, cloud HSM, then again security group. The VPC part itself will come also plays a very important role. There,
IAM,
data guard, definitely yes, data guard. That's the first service we're going to touch with. IAM, no doubt about it. So data guard. Then we have, okay, if you go to products, sorry, security. So IAM definitely yes. Cognito, we are going to discuss guard duty. Oh, not data guard. Guard duty. That's why. Guard duty. Cognito. Then so yes, you can see. So in IAM, we have Cognito, we have directory services, we have IAM. We're going to discuss these three in detail. Then in terms of detective controls, we're going to talk about guard duty in detail. In terms of infrastructure protection, we are going to do shield and WAF. Again, this is more of a theory or theoretical concepts, the use cases and terminologies. In data protection, we have KMS and Cloud HSM. In compliance, we have Artifact. So more or less, we're going to touch all, but then labs, I may not do for all, I may do labs for a few. IAM definitely would be 100%. So these are all services which falls under security identity compliance. So when you go for security specialist exam, so if that's for Alex, so if you're planning for security specialist exam, then this is what you should be expertise in. These are the services is what they'll ask you more. And then core services will always be there. Similarly for Tushar, networking, which we do, right? So example, if I just go click on networking and content delivery, whatever you see here, VPC, Cloud3, CloudFront, App Mesh, Private Link, Load Balancer, Direct Connect, Cloud Map, VPN, Transit Gateway. Your complete exam would be on these topics of advanced networking. So that's what you should be expertise in case you're going for network specialization. So this is what security is all about. Now in database, we're going to talk about RDS, Elastic Cache, and DynamoDB. And we're going to talk about DMS. Recently, they started asking questions on DMS, which is database migration service. Database migration service. So these are the common services or which one has to know for passing the exam. Apart from this, there are many topics, services which are just awareness is important. Like you should not be an expertise in it. They would ask you much questions there, but then they started these days asking. Now, I'm not sure whether you have heard of it or aware of it. Let me show you. You're going solution. The course which you're going to do is solution architecting, right? So learn certification and something which I want to show you.
Aren't there supposed to be some changes coming up?
Yes, that's what I'm going to show you.
Oh, okay.
So AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate, right, is going to change from 22nd of March. There's a new exam which is going to get reached. So currently the exam is SSA-C01. Now from 23rd of March onwards, you'll be have to write SSA C02. So again, no problem with this. These will definitely be there. This has to be there. However, within these services, if there is something update which they have launched, some new features they have launched, plus there would be some additional services we should be knowing for preparing, for appearing for this exam. That's one. Now, database, I don't, out of two, nobody's from database. So again, database from 6th of April, new specialization going to get launched, which is database specialty. Machine learning, that is data analytics, there's a new certification which getting launched from 12th of April. Again, for you, this is more relevant.
So are we covering from
Definitely, yes.
a zero,
Yeah.
like 02 perspective, right?
I am not thinking from the exam perspective. I'm thinking from the knowledge perspective. And
Right, but I mean,
and
like,
and once I finish this course, you can directly go and appear for this exam. That is for sure.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is for sure. Because well, what let them add or remove whatever. This is basically a QB updation, cleaning, in simple terms. To be very frank, I am one of the SME. I am not the only one. There are more than 600 people across the globe who have given inputs for this exam. I am one of them. So we have a community. I am certified. I'm an authorized instructor, AWS certified instructor. So we have to give a lot of inputs for these exams, more real life scenarios, or we have to give inputs. So I'm aware more or less what are the changes going to happen. If you want to know more, what is it? There's an exam guide available there. Now, this is what a new exam pattern is. So these are the domains which you have to focus. Design resilience architecture is 30% of your weightage. High performance architecture is 28%. Secure application architecture is 24%. So automatically security, compliance, regulatory will all be part of it, 24%. And cost optimized architecture is 18%. Now, whenever I say cost optimized, think of trusted advisor, think of serverless architecture, think of managed services. And then further breakdown of what are things. AWS will never disclose what all services they're going to ask. So AWS never disclose what all services they're going to ask in the exam. However, based on people who has gone and appeared and came back, the beta was there. They have a lot of inputs. They are defining it. Which all services you should be knowing. That's number one. Second, there are a lot of market books available from AWS, so which I'm going to share with you. So again, I'll show later where I'm going to share. Okay, let me see if I have it off the shelf. Yeah. So this is what the soft material which I'll be sharing with you. AWS Certified Solution Architect Study Guide, and this is again 2019, right? Latest updated. with all the modules which are going to cover. So either we are going to refer, we can refer this also to just to test whether we have covered all those topics or not. So nothing will come in the exam out of this book. That is for sure, because this is directly an official study guide. I am also AWS certified instructor, so I get the latest curriculum directly from AWS. So I know what all services to be with. So don't worry, from the certification perspective, certification exam will keep updating, will keep it coming and going, right? But somebody who has done this core thing, right, have learned this core thing, do not have to worry, irrespective of whichever version they have given. Like when I have given my exam, my first exam was in 2017, January 2017. That's when I have given my first exam, Jan 17. Post which, trust me, there may be more than 600 changes or more than that. But that doesn't mean I still stick to, because cloud keeps evolving. A lot of new features keeps coming every day. Every week you may get a mailer from AWS saying what's new. Or if you want to know yourself, just go to blogs.aws.com. What's new? So a lot of new features, new services. So EC2 price reduction in particular region. They organize a lot of tech talks free of cost. Then new desktop client for AWS client. So this is somewhere 4th Feb they have launched a new desktop client. So now as a trainer, definitely I have to keep updating myself. But when you do it, you should be knowing what are the new services which AWS is offering as of now. And they keeps every week, trust me, every week there's a new changes that's happening. So you have to be always on your toes to know if you're working on AWS full time. Exam perspective, need not worry. Just focus on that book, focus on this training, what we are doing it. Do the hands-on of the core services, and you can go for the exam. That's how it is. Very easy. Solution architect exam is easy. Difficult to fail. My dad is always says. It's very difficult to fail. Okay, since you are from India, you can understand this SSC, right? In SSC, India, 10 standard is important. Like SSC is what we say. So my dad used to say, very difficult to fail in SSC. Right? Similarly, I'm saying, very difficult to fail this exam, Solution Architect Associate. Why? Doesn't require you technically in-depth knowledge. It just require you L1 level of knowledge on services, which services fits where. So which is the right service for a particular ask. That's what this exam is all about. So what I'm doing is, this all, since we already two of them, and we are expecting two more to join. That's what I got update. So I'm stopping today here only, and then so that the others who join doesn't miss out. And then next Saturday we'll have a very quick refresh on regions, ability zones, and edge locations for the people who are joining new. Maybe I'll spend 20 minutes there, and then we'll start directly with the technical content. So the first service we're going to talk is IEM. So next Saturday, which is I think 29th, yes, 29th, we're going to discuss IEM. So in IEM, I will talk about MFA, multi-factor authentication, users, roles, profiles, policies. This is what we're going to discuss. Then we are going to talk about the next service, EC2. So when I do EC2, we are going to talk about IEM, instance family, size. Then we are going to talk about the sub networking also a little bit here. Now networking, why? Because that will give an idea how EC2 is been, how to connectivity of the EC2 is. So public IP, public IP, private IP, elastic IP, security group. Then we're going to talk about EIP, security group, which is a firewall, the key, RDP. So Windows machine, Linux machine, we are going to deploy, and we are going to connect. Then we're going to talk about load balancer, elastic load balancer, ELB. We're going to talk about auto scaling and EBS. And if time permits, then I'll start with S3. Again, this is S3 is optional. So by next Saturday, you should be familiar with IM, comfortable with IM labs with hands-on and EC2 labs with hands-on. That's the plan. And then we'll continue with our 6 sessions.
So you're gonna help us set up like AWS site and all that
Definitely.
stuff, right?
So that's what I'm going to show. That's what I was going to tell you now. So you all have to create your own account in AWS. So
Okay, we have to do it
aws.com
before the next class. Okay.
/free. So if you just go to this website, again, there's nothing rocket science. Normal website, just click sign in to the console. Now, you may not have an account in AWS. So AWS provides you with free access. So let me explain you. So /free. So you have to create a free account. So AWS provides you 60, approximately more than 60 products using free time. So this free time is for 12 months. That's the beauty. So 12 months, you can leverage, you can practice, you can do hands-on without paying anything to AWS. There are some services which are trial-based. There are some services which are always free, and there are some services which are free for within this 12 months. Now, if you just further scroll down, you can know which all services are free and what are the limits are. So EC2, which is compute, it is 750 hours per month free for Red Hat Linux, SUSE, T2 Micro or T3 Micro. Now, when I do a normal match, 31 days maximum in a month, 24 hours, that comes to 744. And AWS is giving me 750 hours free. So if I run one Linux machine or one Windows machine for a whole year, I don't pay anything. That doesn't mean you can only create one, you can create many, but then number of hours combined should not go more than 70 hours in a month. S3 is 5 GB free. RDS is 5 GB free. 750 hours. Again, so whenever I start doing any service, I'll first tell you what are the limits are, and then I'll talk, I'll explain, I'll demonstrate, so that you don't cross your limits, play within those limits, you don't pay anything to AWS. So I would request both of you to create your own account in Amazon, aws.amazon.com/free. While creating the account, you will ask you for a username. Again, that's your email address. This is nothing but an email ID. Then credit card information. Don't worry, it's going to debit $2